the support. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh, guys, knock it off. That's all the support. This is great. I think I'll just do this all night. Jerry, sit down, man. You're good. Well, you're sitting down. All right, I'm going to go ring this bell, and that's going to officially start us off, okay? Good evening, and welcome to the 30th Annual Rotary Community Toast and Benefit Banquet. I am Corey Cochran, the current president of the New Albany Rotary Club, where we have been connecting to our community and the world for over 100 years. We are thrilled you could participate this evening as we shine a spotlight on a remarkable community leader who, like our past honorees, truly embodies the Rotary International motto of service above self. We do have several guests this evening that I would like to introduce. We are honored to have our district governor, Miss Mandy Lorem. Mandy, where are you? Hi, Mandy. And walking in now is my brother Brady Cochran, table 23. Take your time, Brady. The black sheep. We also want to welcome some students from Floyd Central High School. They are part of our Interact Club that we sponsor, and Miss Kim Haley, their teacher sponsor. Could you please stand to be recognized, the students and the teacher? There you guys are. Thank you all. Thank you. We also have a group from Leadership Southern Indiana's Next Gen class. Those individuals are back there. Go ahead and stand up, please. All right. Thank you all. So these groups help introduce young people to Rotary service commitment and plan service projects of their own. But the New Albany Rotary Club gives and serves locally as well as internationally. Each Rotarian strives to improve our community and promote peace and goodwill around the world. If you're interested in learning more about our Rotary Club, please visit our website. We were supposed to have some QR codes, and I was supposed to say that, but we crossed it off, so we'll send out the website. For us at Rotary, it begins and ends with service, and that's why we're here tonight. We are so happy to be honoring Mr. Larry Ricke, a man who sets a high bar as an example of service to the community. So thank you for being a part of this remarkable evening. Your support will be felt locally and internationally as Rotary makes the whole world a better place for everyone. And now it is my honor to introduce our MC for the evening, Mr. Jerry Finn. Jerry, there's a bio. He wouldn't let me get off stage without doing that. Jerry is retired after 19 years as the executive director of the Caesars Foundation of Floyd County. He has served on numerous nonprofit boards and is involved in many charitable causes, including the Friends of the Town Clock Church. A father of 4 and a grandfather to 7, he and his wife Jill still live in Starlight in their family's 1800s home. One of Jerry's favorite honors is to be included as a Rotary Toast Community honoree along with the great people like Mr. Ricke. Please welcome Jerry Finn to the podium.
Well, welcome, and it is certainly an honor to share the stage tonight with our celebrity, Larry Ricke. Now, first of all, happy All Saints Day. I know Larry is not a saint, but when the toasters get finished this evening, you might think he is pretty close to canonization. But the best part about the Community Rotary Toast is not just the toast part, but the focus on community. And Larry has done just that. His engagement in the community has been stellar. He has made such a difference in our community here in Floyd County. His request that the proceeds that are generated this evening go to the Community Foundation makes a statement about how much he believes in community because that's what the Community Foundation is about, making our community a much better place for us to live, to work, to grow, and to play. His service on their board and the unique opportunity that the Community Foundation has because of a Lilly Endowment Grant, where all the proceeds that the Community Foundation gets tonight will be matched, $2 for every dollar. And that is a unique opportunity that our community has to really generate money that's going to live on forever to do good in our community. So, as passionate members of our community, we have the Ricke family here as well. Family members, I'd like you to please stand or wave to be recognized. First of all, we have Ann Ricke, spouse. In my years of having the office at the Caesars Foundation at the YMCA, I am forever humbled by Ann's ability to work out and leave people like me totally in the dust. She's amazing. So, also Emily Ricke Adandra, daughter, and Sean Andandra, son-in-law. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but and Olivia Heine, who is the granddaughter, and you'll meet Olivia here in a little bit, so welcome, Olivia. We have Matt and Tom Ricke, sons. Barbara Ricke, sister. Mike and Tammy Ricke, brother and sister-in-law. Carol and Dan Stanley, and sister and brother-in-law. And Tom and Jan Streepy, Ann's brother and sister-in-law. Now, this evening would not be possible without our many sponsors who make this possible. They're listed in your book, but I would like to name at least the first few, and then later on the program I'll do the second group. But our gold sponsors include Alliant Insurance Services, Caesars Foundation of Floyd County, Dr. Dan Eichenberger, Huber Orchard and Winery, Indiana University Southeast, and Monroe Shine and Company. So we're so grateful. And again, the money you raised, you'll get $2 for every dollar you invest here. Now, as part of our Rotary tradition, we always have an invocation. And this evening, Olivia Heine, the granddaughter of Larry and Ann, will give that invocation. Olivia is a senior at Assumption High School in Louisville. She's a member of the Beta Club, the Future Business Leaders of America Club, and she's been a principal scholar all 4 years. She's volunteered at the Salvation Army's Red Kettle Kitchen, has lettered in cross country her freshman year, and is currently on the inaugural Assumption girls flag football team, where they are undefeated in competition. Larry said he chose Olivia not just because he loves her dearly and because she is his granddaughter, but because she is a young, talented, and beautiful leader in which he and Ann are so very proud. So welcome, Olivia.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with humility and faith. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. Grant us wisdom and discernment as we seek to serve others. Help us to see beyond outward appearances and to recognize the dignity and worth of every person we encounter. Fill us with your Holy Spirit, bringing hope and healing wherever we go. We lift up our community into your loving hands, praying for its well-being and prosperity. Help us to be agents of positive change, working together to build a community where all are valued, respected, and cared for. Lord, I ask you for your blessing upon our efforts to serve others. Please bless the Rotary Club members, tonight's honoree, Larry Ricke, and all of us in this room who are here to support service to our community. May our actions be guided by your love and motivated by a genuine desire to make a difference in the lives of those around us. In your name, God, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Olivia. Now, as part of our Rotary tradition, we'd like for you to stand if you're able, and we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are now going to start serving dinner, and members of the Huber Orchard and Winery staff will come around to your tables and send you over to the buffet tables in the doors over there. So if you want to come start that. Well, welcome back. I know some of you have just gotten your food. And that's okay, go ahead, and but we're going to go ahead and start the program, mainly just because I'm old, and I don't want it to go past my bedtime here tonight, so the schedule says it's time to start. I would like to once again do that second group of gold sponsors that have made this evening so such a success. So the first one is Greg and Christy Nash, Underproduction Multimedia, Ricke Financial Advisory Group, Waters, Tyler, Hoffman and Scott, LLC, and West Banco. So thank you all so much for investing in our community. Okay, it's time for our first presenter this evening, and it's going to be Mr. Larry Myers. He is president and CEO of First Savings Financial Group, the parent company of First Savings Bank. Prior to joining First Savings, Larry worked at the old Mutual Trust Bank. Old people like me remember Mutual Trust, during which time Larry met Larry. Over the course of many years, the two Larrys became intertwined with several business and civic activities, serving together on a number of boards. After the First Savings Charitable Foundation was established, Larry Ricke became the chair of the foundation, directing over $2.5 million of grants to support financial literacy in southern Indiana. In addition to their working relationship, the two Larrys have been friends for nearly 40 years. With that, I would like to introduce Mr. Larry Myers.
Jerry must be taller than I am. I need to lower this thing down. All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 30th Annual Rotary Toast. Tonight, we're recognizing a native son of New Albany who works tirelessly to make a vibrant community. When Larry asked me to speak, he was very clear that this was a toast, not a roast. Larry and I go back many years, as Jerry said, and there are plenty of fun dinners and stories I could share tonight, but I won't. So I guess I'd better stick to the script. My involvement with Larry begins over 30 years ago when I came to New Albany as a new vice president to work at Mutual Trust Bank. Larry was a customer of the bank, and he was great at engaging the staff, networking, and what often introduced me to prominent business people to develop banking relationships. At the time, Larry was very involved in the community and introduced me to a number of civic organizations. For those organizations, Larry didn't just sit on the board or direct somebody else to do the work. He served on committees, he recruited new volunteers, and he raised money. We could be here all night talking about Larry's accomplishments, but I want to highlight 3 achievements about Larry's community involvement that you may not know. First, Larry was very active in Southern Indiana Chamber of Commerce. We now know that as One Southern Indiana. Every year, the Chamber would host the annual Business Awards Lunch, and these luncheons were scarcely attended. Often, the only attendees were the ones who were winning the awards and their families. The awards lacked the recognition they deserved, and one year, Larry was appointed the chairman of the event, and he completely revamp the show. Instead of informing the winners beforehand, the winners were announced at the meeting. Attendance soared, and to this day, it remains one of the best and most successful events for Southern Indiana. Second, I remember Larry's getting involved in Develop New Albany and bringing it off the ground. Larry is a big proponent for downtown New Albany. Previously, the only businesses that were in downtown were a few banks and a couple of bars. Like many towns, retail businesses have moved to the shopping centers. Larry knew the importance of a vibrant downtown and also recognized that getting there was not going to be an easy task. Larry worked tirelessly to enlist the support of the remaining downtown businesses and local government to bring resources and attention back to downtown New Albany. Now, 30 years later, downtown New Albany is alive and well with businesses, shops, and upscale dining. I wouldn't say that Larry is fully responsible for this turnaround, but I know that it couldn't have happened without him. The last community activity I want to mention is First Savings Charitable Foundation. In 2008, when First Savings became listed on the NASDAQ, it set aside 300,000 shares of stock of First Savings Financial Group to fund a charitable foundation. For the last 10 years, under Larry's leadership, the foundation, it has grown and given over $2.5 million to various organizations. Larry has served as that chairman of that organization. Junior Achievement and Leadership Southern Indiana's Next Gen program have been the largest beneficiaries of these grants. And if by chance you are not familiar with Next Gen, it is a highly regarded leadership program for high school students. And in fact, at Larry's insistence, tonight we have a group of Next Gen students with us here. And I want to recognize the Next Gen students. If you guys could stand up and everybody could recognize them. Larry asked that they be here tonight to interact with all the business leaders that are here. And so if you have an opportunity, please step up, meet these individuals. They're our next generation of leaders in Southern Indiana. As I bring my comments to a close, Larry, everyone here wants to thank you for all that you've done for New Albany and the Southern Indiana community. Your willingness to roll up your sleeves, to do the hard work, from One Southern Indiana to Develop New Albany to chairing the First Savings Charitable Foundation has made a great impact on many. Your vision, along with your persistence, has helped us make Southern Indiana a great place to live. So thank you, Larry. We appreciate it.
Thanks for your remarks there, Larry. A couple things. I had the honor of giving the Next Gen students a tour of the Town Clock Church and sharing some of the history of the Underground Railroad, and their interest in the history of our community was fascinating. It was quite an honor to do that. And second of all, when I think of the transformation of downtown New Albany, it clearly runs in the Ricke blood, because the building of the YMCA in downtown would not have happened without the Rickes and their insistence that it happened right there. So thank you all for that transformational work that you did there. Yeah. Our second presenter has a very interesting biography with majors in science and elementary education, followed by a medical degree and a specialization in emergency medicine. She currently works as a medical records reviewer, farmer, and most importantly, a mom to 3 daughters. And I just realized tonight that she and her husband spent their honeymoon on my farm in Starlight at the Starlight Country Cabin. So please give a warm welcome to Dr. Valerie King Quinkert.
Heels, don't you just love them? It's a great privilege to be here tonight and speak at this program to honor Larry Ricke. And I stand here before you speaking for hundreds of people whose life Larry literally changed. Carole King, for those of us old enough to remember her, and those of us young enough to listen to really excellent music, sang a song about a tapestry and how it was built with colors of different hues. And I feel like relationships and lives are built like that. And in my tapestry of my life, Larry Ricke's color is gold. I met Larry 34 years ago. I was an Army brat. I came here to do my medical residency in emergency medicine. And after fending off thousands of insurance people who wanted to sell insurance that I didn't know I would ever need, I was sitting one night finding myself unexpectedly pregnant, expecting my first daughter, talking to one of my fellow residents, and he said, you know, Valerie, if you're interested in insurance, you could go meet Larry Ricke. Not only is he an insurance agent, but he's a really nice guy. What an understatement. 34 years ago, my husband and I walked into Larry's office, and he sold my husband many insurance policies, but me only one because I had a pre-existing condition. What I was interested in was life insurance because I was expecting a daughter. Fast forward many years later, my acquaintance with Larry Ricke, who had checked on me through the years, became a friendship as 7 years and 3 daughters later, and 4 major surgical procedures later, I walked into Larry Ricke's office carrying a stroller with an infant and a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old to tell him that I needed to cancel my life insurance policy because I'd been too sick and my husband was leaving and I couldn't afford anything anymore. And Larry found a way to make my insurance policy pay for itself so I could cover my daughters if in fact the worst happened. Over the next few years, I was in and out of practice because of my health, and Larry, where most people leave you when your life falls apart, Larry goes right to you. Hey, Val, it's Larry Ricke. I was just calling to see if you would consider doing some speaking for our agency. We pay you a stipend and blah, 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 and those stipends and my residence disability policy put food on my family's table. So after about 5 years of doing this, I get a call from Larry. Hey, Val, it's Larry Ricke. You know, and I was thinking he had a program for me to speak at or something to that extent. Or sometimes I'd talk to people who didn't see the value of insurance. He said, listen, there's this great guy I know. I think you should meet him. And I was like, what? Larry, I don't know if I'm interested in anybody. But 5 years and 6 months later, Scott Waters, who's sitting at table 13, married Tim Quinkert and me, who's sitting at table 6. And Ann and Larry Ricke were sitting at our table, I don't remember whatever number, in this facility right in that room. Larry always comes to people where he doesn't have to, and he helps them. I'm going to share one more time over the years. There's many things Larry's done, but at age 29, that oldest daughter that instituted the meeting with Larry for me developed breast cancer. And turns out we had a genetic abnormality. Larry Ricke came to the hospital, wrote all my 3 daughters' insurance policies, encouraged my daughter, called and checked on my daughter, and they're all insured, and their husbands are insured today. This relationship, which started as an acquaintanceship and became a friendship and became an extended family, as all the Rickes are, and is just as valuable in my tapestry as Larry. Thank you. These relationships have been generations for our family. And Larry has made a difference in the relationship he's given to me, and I'm just one of many. So tonight, it's my great honor to stand here and say thank you, Larry. Daddy always said as an Army commander that you judge a man, well, he never said man because he was making an impression on me. So he said, you judge a person, Valerie, by their character and integrity and what they do when no one's looking. And I stand here before you to tell you, Larry does a lot that nobody sees. God bless you, Larry. God bless you, Ann, and thank you for the difference you've made in our lives.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I am fairly certain that none of us are surprised to hear those types of stories because that's just the type of person that Larry Ricke is. I would like to ask our state representative Ed Clear to come forward for an award presentation.
Logistics. Good evening. Thank you, Jerry. I look forward to this event every year, and I'm always grateful and humbled to be able to join this distinguished crowd to honor a distinguished member of our community, and distinguished is the word of the night. We're going to do things a little backwards, as you will hear in my remarks and probably throughout the evening. Larry doesn't always do things the conventional way. So tonight, we're not going to do things the conventional way. I had the honor almost exactly 2 years ago to join our Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch, in presenting Larry with a Sagamore of the Wabash Award from Governor Holcomb. Lieutenant Governor Crouch and I presented that to Larry at his office with family and friends and business associates present, and we were honored to be able to do that. But when I found out that you were going to be the honoree tonight, it left us in a bit of a quandary because you had already received the state's highest award. So we thought through it, and we decided, well, Larry may have received the Sagamore Award already, but he didn't receive a Distinguished Hoosier Award along the way. So tonight, I have the honor of circling back in somewhat unconventional order and presenting Larry with a Distinguished Hoosier Award to go along with his Sagamore Award. And I'm going to read a few of the comments from the News and Tribune story that ran after Larry received the Sagamore Award from Governor Holcomb. Lieutenant Governor Crouch said, "It's leaders like Larry that help communities progress, and the Sagamore of the Wabash is bestowed upon those Hoosiers who really make a difference." She said she was particularly moved by Larry's work to support families of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which is a passion for the Lieutenant Governor as well. She said to Larry at that presentation, "I think what you do in terms of giving to your community and giving back to those who are less fortunate is what distinguishes you from your fellow citizens." I was there and talked about Larry's work in revitalizing downtown New Albany. I said before there was a shared vision, Larry had the vision for revitalizing downtown New Albany, and a lot of what has happened since then is because of the investment that he made early on, the hard work that he put into it. Larry, of course, was very modest, very humble, and he said the revitalization in downtown New Albany was a community effort. And I want to read a quote that I'll come back to in a moment. Larry said, "Our vision for downtown New Albany at that time was we wanted to make this downtown Disney World. If you look at Main Street in downtown Disney World, this is exactly the characteristics we had in our buildings downtown. And if we could get people to come in and invest money and fix up the buildings, our vision was people would come." So, we all know Larry thinks big, whether it's imagining that downtown New Albany could be like downtown Disney or any number of other things. A few years ago, Larry invited me to his office to brainstorm ideas for a Star Wars museum for New Albany. And you don't get a call every day from someone downtown asking you to come brainstorm ideas for a Star Wars museum in downtown New Albany. But Larry had the vision, and although we don't yet have a museum in Notice I said yet, Larry. Many of you are aware that because of Larry's vision, we had an incredible display at the Floyd County Library's Cultural Arts Center, the old Carnegie Library, earlier this year with all kinds of Star Wars artifacts and celebrities that brought people in from all over the region and all over the country. So the point is, Larry has vision, and when he calls, people respond because of their respect for Larry and their respect for his leadership. I received that call. I've had the opportunity to work with Larry in a number of contexts over the years. And some of you know, outside the legislature, I've been a real estate broker for 24 years. Larry called me back in, I think it was 2007. I had a house listed on Elm Street in New Albany, and he called me. And I thought he wanted to see the house, but I realized in typical Larry Ricke fashion, he had not just directed me to show him the house, he said he wanted to buy the house. So he had already made up his mind, and he and Ann turned that house, which was already one of New Albany's finest houses, into an even finer house with an assist from his sister Barbara, making it the beautiful showcase that it is. Again, coming back to visionary, a founding member of Develop New Albany, which was recently renamed New Albany Main Street, Larry not only saw the potential in downtown New Albany, but also invested in downtown New Albany decades before most other people thought it was prudent, let alone cool. Among other properties, he and Ann bought and renovated the building on Bank Street where his third-generation business has been ever since. Larry has been prudent, visionary, and wise in his business and in our community. And I'll just mention a couple of things in closing. At a time when politics has divided our nation, our community, and even probably this room, Larry rises above politics. Not only finds ways to work with everybody, but also ways to bring together people who probably would not work together absent his call and his leadership, exemplifying not only his commitment to community, but his commitment to service over self. And I'll come back to his comment about Disney, because I think many folks know one of the tricks they play on us at Disney is that they play with the scale of the buildings. If you've ever read about this on Main Street Disney, the main floor may be normal size, but then the second floor is downsized and the third floor is downsized, and it's an optical illusion. So I just want to close by saying that Disney may need optical illusions, but Larry Ricke does not. And he has made our entire community better and brighter with no need for illusion. Larry Ricke's vision and legacy are very real, not just full size, but outsized. Larry, will you please come to the stage and allow me to present you with the Distinguished Hoosier Award from Governor Eric Holcomb. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Representative Clear. Gosh, so many awesome aspects that you talked about, and so true. Our third and final presenters happen to be the children of Ann and Larry Ricke. Emily and Matt and Tom are all here and happy to be representing on behalf of their father. From Larry's example of service to all, his three children have chosen careers where they can serve and help others as well. Emily and Matt have followed in Larry's footsteps and now run Ricke Financial, a third-generation family business in which they help clients achieve their financial goals and dreams. Tom has spent his career in medicine as an anesthesiologist for Baptist Floyd, where he has helped countless patients with his competent, kind, and gentle care. So it's my pleasure to welcome Emily, Matt, and Tom to the stage to share a few stories about their father, Larry.
Hello, good evening, and thank you so much for having us and for honoring our father tonight. I am Emily Andrada, and my brothers and I, we've had so many good memories growing up, so we thought it would be fun to share a few memories with you tonight. But before we get started with that, there's one thing we want to tell you about our dad. And our dad loved to teach us life lessons as we were growing up. So whenever we would do something, he would always try to incorporate a message for us to learn. So the first message I'm going to talk about is one that we have all learned from Dad, and that was the sky's the limit and you can do anything if you put your mind to it. So I want to share a story with you that I think exemplifies this. There was one Saturday morning, all three of us were at our grandparents' house, and we were all young, maybe 10 years old and younger. And we had been there for a while, and we were getting pretty bored. We didn't have anything to do. So we went up to Dad and said, we don't have anything to do. And he said, hey guys, I have an idea. Why don't you invent something and sell it for money? Well, we all love the idea of making money. And one thing we all agreed on is we love Halloween. So it was very easy for us to come up with our invention. So we gathered, I guess maybe Dad took us to get our supplies, but we decided we were going to make and sell brains in a bottle. So we went and bought Big League Chew bubble gum, shaped it in little brains, and then we had red food gel in which we smeared over the brains to make them look gory. We packaged them in clear baby food jars and made scary looking labels. So Dad then loaded all three of us up in the car with the brains and a card table, and he took us down to the old New Albany Plaza right in front of Big Lots. And so we set up our table and sold our brains for $1 each. Now, I can't tell you how much money we made. I can't tell you if we even recovered our expenses. But what I can tell you is it made a very lasting impression on us, and it was probably our first lesson in entrepreneurship. So Dad always taught us that if you put your mind to something, if you work hard, and if you see it through, then it can happen. So now that I am older and have the privilege of working with my dad, I enjoy going out into the community and teaching the youth as he once taught us. So we'll go speak to kids from middle school age all the way through college, and we will do financial literacy and seminars to them. And we'll teach them the value of finances and hard work and effort and motivation. So, Dad, I just want to say thank you for being a tremendous leader in the community. Thank you for all you have done for us as a family, and we appreciate and love you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Ricke, and I want to just tell you all a little bit about another important lesson that our father Larry taught us, and it was to treat family like friends and friends like family. Back in the day, and I'm saying way back in the day, in the early 90s, I was part of the Floyd Central cross country team, and we often had races on Saturday mornings, early Saturday mornings, and we went up north, quite a ways north, about 2 to 3 hours from here typically, Indianapolis area, even further north than that, so we could gain some exposure to northern competition in the state. And our team needed drivers to get the runners, family, and friends to these meets. And of course, our father Larry always stepped up to the plate to drive us in the family van and get my friends, family, and get us to the meets, most importantly on time and safely. But we always had a ton of fun along the way, and he made sure of that for us. And then once the regular season was over, it didn't stop there for Larry. No, we wanted to do one year the AAU championships, cross-country championships in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. That's about 11 and a half hours away from here. Of course, Larry signed up to take us. He booked hotel rooms for us, paid for those. He took us out to a great Italian restaurant in downtown Philly, showed us the Liberty Bell, And it was all in one weekend, and then took us to a 76ers basketball game. But the coolest thing that he did is in our van, our big black van, he pumped music. It was the song Eye of the Tiger. And then he took us to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And if you guys know what that is, that was made famous in the movie Rocky Balboa, climbing those stairs at the end of his training run. And we did that. We got pumped up, got jacked up before our race, ran up those steps, and we got to the top. And my teammates and I were like, "Yo, Adrian, we did it." And we just had a blast. But Larry helped create those memories for our family and our friends amongst all the hard work he was doing in the community that you've heard about tonight. So he always made sure that he put us at the top of that list, which was very important. And in the community, Larry wanted to create the same kind of impact that he did for us. He wanted to always provide love, encouragement, to those around him, whether they were clients, friends, or just community members. And he wanted to make sure that he always got them to the top of their mountain, whether it was related to our business or not. If you can help that person be in a better spot, then hey, that's what Larry was about and what he wanted to do. And for those of you in this room, if you know Larry well, I'm sure you know that to be true. I just want to thank Larry. I want to say we're so proud of you and all you've accomplished in business, in the community, but most importantly for being our dad and teaching us how to be a positive influence in the lives of others. And the other important lesson, to treat family like friends and friends like family. Thanks so much, and love you, Dad.
Good evening. I'm Tom Ricke. An important life lesson I learned from my dad is to better the lives of others by serving, but always serve family first. Our dad worked hard to provide us with an amazing life, but despite the long hours at work, he always found time for family. Many memories stand out to me. He coached our basketball teams and our football teams. He was always there, even when he wasn't coaching, never missing any of our activities or events for all three of us. We had family dinners every night. He was always there. The five of us would eat a wonderful home-cooked meal from Mom, which we always appreciated. We'd sit around and talk about our days. Dad would sit and listen to us, but also offer us sound advice. One of the pieces of advice that made a big difference in my life was to start saving at a very young age to prepare for my future. Many kids went out and spent their money that they earned right away, but I took his advice, opened an account, and invested my money. Years later, I was building a house, and I took that money and I put it towards my house. So it went to good use. So thanks, Dad, for that advice. Church was always very important to our family as well. We went to church every Sunday as a family. We never missed a week, even when we were on vacation. One of our funniest church memories occurred when our family was vacationing in Florida. Dad said, "We're going to walk to church." We all complained, but he sweetened the deal by promising us some ice cream at one of the many Dairy Queens he assured us was on the way. So off we went, walking and walking, mile after mile. Church had long since started. We're still walking. Mind you, not a single Dairy Queen in sight. We finally gave up and hailed a cab. After a very long cab ride, we got to church. We get out of the cab. We tell the cab driver, "Stay right here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes." So as you can see, we've had many wonderful family memories. We've learned a lot of great life lessons along the way. To our parents, Larry and Ann, we want to say thank you for all you've done for us. We love you. We appreciate everything you've done for us, making us the people we are today. And we are truly blessed to be your children. Thank you.
I would like to now welcome to the stage our Rotary District 6580 Governor, Mandy Loram, for a presentation.
Hello. Good evening, and thank you all for being here today to celebrate a remarkable individual who's made a significant contribution to this community. For those that may not be familiar, the Paul Harris Fellow Award is named after Rotary International founder Paul Harris. This award recognizes individuals who demonstrate outstanding service and dedication to the ideas of Rotary. It is a symbol of appreciation for tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among people of the world. Today, we are honored that Larry Ricke is being named a Paul Harris Fellow and for his exceptional commitment to our community. Larry's tireless efforts have not only improved the lives of many, but have also inspired others to take action and engage in service. Together, we can all make a difference. So now, I'd like to have Larry come up. So Larry, it is my honor to present you as the newest Paul Harris Fellow Award and to welcome you to a large group of people that are Paul Harris Fellows, and to congratulate everyone who is also a Paul Harris Fellow. Please stand and join us as we welcome Larry into this club. Congratulations, yeah.
Such an honor to be a part of hearing the stories of how one person can make such a difference in our community. And at this point in our program, it is the official community toast to honor Larry Ricke. So hopefully you've got something in your glasses so we can do this toast. Irv Stumler, who was our 2023 Community Toast honoree, I invite you to come to the stage and present our official community toast along with presenting sponsors, First Saving Bank, CEO Larry Myers, and I'd like to also recognize West Point Financial Group. So Larry, you want to come up and be a part of this as well?
Good evening. Please raise your glasses to toast a great community leader who takes the motto of service above self to heart. To our distinguished 2024 Rotary Community Roast honoree, Larry Ricke. Cheers.
Okay, now that we have officially toasted Larry on several different levels, I would like to invite Larry to come to the stage to make some remarks to this distinguished group.
Thank all of you. What an honor this is, and what a privilege. I hope someday all of you get to have the enjoyment that I've had today, knowing that I get to be before this crowd, and what a great group. I'd like to thank the Rotary. My experience with the Rotary, like the high school students that we have with us tonight, go back to my senior year at New Albany High School. my wife and I were very fortunate enough to be invited to a Rotary scholarship banquet. We had a great time, and that was my first introduction to the Rotary Club. You know, tonight is not about me. Tonight's about we. We all have the opportunity to make a difference. We all are in this together, and we can all make this a better community in which we live. When people ask you to serve, don't say no, but be energetic. Put a smile on your face and say, count me in. Just like the Rotary members, we can all make a difference in New Albany and around the world if we only step up. You may have noticed I've had a little bit of trouble getting up these steps. That's because 2 knee surgeries. But you know what? 2 knee surgeries are great. I'm still above ground, so that works great. Okay, I'd like to recognize the past recipients. If you take a look in your program booklet of the past recipients of this event, this is like the who's who of New Albany. These are our leaders. These are the people that walked this ground long before me, and they've all done an awesome job. Going back to the very first Rotary banquet, honoring the very first recipient, John Cody. How many of you were in the room when John Cody got that recognition beside Terry and Sally and Peggy and a few others? Where that banquet was, for those of you that don't have any clue, is exactly where Newcomer Funeral Home is today. Okay? That was a banquet center. Okay? And that was the premier place in town to have a banquet. So I was honored to be there at that first banquet honoring John Cody. And I've had the privilege of working alongside many of these great leaders that you've recognized. And you know, I look at tonight, and tonight is like hearing your eulogy while you're still alive. And having said that, you know, kind of the discussion at my table with the kids, Dad, if you read the program booklet, this could be a good obituary. Okay, you know, that was fine till I made the next comment. I said, nowadays, kids, the newspapers charge you by the word for the obituary. They looked at the words in the program, and that ended the discussion. Okay? Olivia, thank you so much for the prayer. It was awesome. Larry, it's been an honor and a privilege serving with First Savings Bank Charitable Foundation. We do such great work for the people in our community in promoting financial literacy. Valerie King Quinkert, your story is unbelievable. And what Valerie didn't tell you, Valerie is also an author, okay? Valerie wrote a book years ago. It's called Choices That Make a Difference When Healing from Divorce. Powerful book. I gave that book to Tim Quinkert, okay? Tim read the book, okay? After reading the book, he called Valerie up. They talked on the phone for a while and ended up going out on a coffee date. And what Valerie said is, with the help of Reverend Scott Waters, okay, Valerie and Tim were married back in the back room here, you know, years ago. And what a great story this has been. And I'm just so proud to be a part of their lives. Emily, Matt, and Tom, our family experiences. I'm surprised at what they said, because there was so lot more that could have been a whole lot more damaging, okay? You know, obviously Ann got with them and they toned it down a little bit. But our clients and friends, you've all helped me shape my life. You've given me so much strength to be a part of this community. My team at Ricke Associates, and now the Ricke Financial Group, they're the rocks. They've been with us for a long time. And I'd like to recognize one person who hasn't been announced tonight, and that's Kathy Farmer. Kathy, stand up here. Beautiful lady in the red dress. Kathy came into my life when she was 18 years old. She applied for a job at our office when we were on Main Street. Kathy and her husband, Kelly, have been with me for over 40 years. You don't have employees, stay that long anymore. But Kathy has been a rock in our office, and Kathy and Kelly, thank you for all the years of service. We're now fortunate to have Kathy's daughter, working for us, and Emmy Bodner working for us. And there's a common thread among all of our employees. They all worked at Polly's Freeze. So if any of you are looking for great people, if they've got a Polly's Freeze background, not necessarily McDonald's, but Polly's Freeze, hire them. They have been outstanding. Okay. I'd also like to recognize the Huber family. If you take a look at this venue here and what this family has built, this is 7 generations of a family business. 7. Very few businesses make it to the 2nd generation. Almost no make it to the 3rd generation. This is now a 7th generation family business. I'd like to thank them for what they've built for our community, what they do for our community. And for this great facility, It's their vision that put all this together. I'd like to recognize my charity tonight, the Community Foundation of Southern Indiana. It's been my privilege to be on the board with Linda Speed and her group, and all the members of our foundation that have served. What a great organization. And when they first asked me to designate a charity, I said, okay, what can I do to give the most impact to our community? The Community Foundation was number 1 on my list. Then the pot even got sweeter, because with the Eli Lilly matching grant right now, for every $1 that we raise, they will match $2. So we can leverage the money raised 3 to 1, with the Lilly Foundation match. And for those of you that haven't been involved with the Lilly or with the Community Foundation and don't know Linda Speed, Linda, stand up. I'd like for everybody to meet Linda. She's the CEO. And she's got a lot of her board members with her here at her table. But we can all give back to the Community Foundation. And with this special Lilly grant, we can triple our contributions. And again, that goes with my saying, take advantage and leverage all opportunities. And that's a way that we can leverage this. I'd like to also recognize our next gen members and our members from Floyd Central. All you guys stand up again. I know you've been recognized before. That's right. These young people are the future leaders of our community. They're future Rotarians, So get to know these people, go up, introduce yourselves to them, and thank them for being here. Because they could have been out trick-or-treating tonight, But thank you all for coming. I appreciate you being here. I want to talk about a few turning points in my life. Because you take a look at these turning points, and that's what really shapes you. Back in 1967, a young lady walked into my life. Her name was Ann Streepy. We were both seniors at New Albany High School. This was actually the summer before our senior year. But we kind of hung out, as the kids say, together now. We actually then went on our first date, and Ann, I do remember this. It was after the first varsity football game we had played, and we used to have dances at Hazelwood Junior High School after the game. She was my date at that time to go to that dance after that game. We've been together ever since. In 1972, we married on November 3rd. November 3rd happens to be Sunday. So what we're doing tonight is we're celebrating our 52nd anniversary a little early in the weekend. And I love you so much. Thank you. And I've got a little gift for you here. You turn around. Okay. Okay. Ed Clear talked about me renovating some buildings. Well, a funny story that Ann really likes to tell is that on one of our anniversaries, I bought her a building on Pearl Street. Okay? And for those of you that know Pearl Street, it's the building where Rookie's Bakery is now. So that was an old dilapidated building. The roof had fallen in, and we totally rehabbed the building with Barb's help and my kids' help and all that. We got in and redid that building. Ann's comment after that was, next time, how about diamonds? Okay? All right. So that was really, I look at Ann and I say, I make the living, but Ann and the family makes the living worthwhile. You can't go in through life by yourself. You need a partner. And she's been an absolute fantastic partner and mother to our children. Ann, love you. Thank you. Another turning point in my life was in 1972. I met a gentleman by the name of Charlie Schultz. I know that name doesn't mean anything to you, but Charlie was a general agent for Connecticut Mutual in Louisville. Charlie hired me as a young graduate from Ball State University, and I went to work with Charlie. He gave me wings. He taught me what to do. He taught me how to be successful. He also taught me and told me that there's no right way to do a wrong thing. So if you remember that walking through life, there's no right way to do a wrong thing. I look at Dick Stem, okay? A lot of you don't know Dick Stem, don't know who he is, but he's one of your recipients of this honor. Back in June of 1972, I started with Connecticut Mutual. I got an introduction to Dick Stem. Dick was an iconic businessman here in New Albany, okay? He was at kind of the top of the heap. And Dick was a rough man, not very funny, very straight-laced, but Dick gave me the opportunity to do some business with him and his sons. And that was a month before we got married. And so when you take a look at your careers and turning points in life, that was an absolute turning point. And every time I saw Dick Stem, I would remind him of that and thank him, because that really helped me get started on my career. Mayor Robert Reel. A lot of you don't know Bob. Bob has long since passed away. But Bob got me involved in Develop New Albany. Main Street, Indiana was just getting started, and he knew of my love for kind of the older historic buildings and the ability to fix them up. So Bob asked me and a group of other business people if we would start an organization, and that organization started and ended up being Develop New Albany. And as Ed said, our vision was very simple. Main Street, downtown Disneyland. If you look at the building structures we have, that's what they have at Main Street in Disneyland. All we needed to do was to get absentee owners to relinquish their buildings and sell them to people that had the vision to fix them up. And fortunately, that was done. Sam and Jim Robinson, iconic business people here in town, started our only public company in town. They introduced me to Junior Achievement. And through their introduction to Junior Achievement, I became very involved and headed up the Indiana, section for Junior Achievement in Southern Indiana. And then Marguerite Kepley. Marguerite Kepley was a little lady that I'd never had met, didn't know who she was. But in 1988, I needed to move my office out of our building on Main Street to somewhere else. So in 1988, I went to this building at 425 Bank Street, which is right across from La Cortina, if you guys don't know where the office is, and knocked on this lady's door, not knowing this lady from Adam. But after talking to her for 10 minutes, we struck a deal where I bought the building from her. She had the opportunity to stay there and live in the back of the building. We took the front of the building and the upstairs, and we coexisted in that building for years. Until finally she couldn't take care of herself anymore, so we had to move her to the Robert E. Lee. But we were her only family. She had no family. So the man upstairs sent me in her direction and took care of things. So what I'd like to focus now is just a few gems of what I say I've learned from great leaders. And this is, I think, will hit home with the next gen in our Floyd Central group. And if you'll just remember a few of these gems and put them into practice, I think it will help all of us. One, and you heard Ed and Larry both say this, don't just participate, get involved with leadership positions. Anybody can write a check. But if you get involved, you can make the organization a better organization. And you heard Valerie say this, and I say it this way. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. A lot of people think they're important, but do you really want to be with them? So it's nice to be important, but more important to be nice. You heard Emily talk about this. If you help people get to the top of their mountains, they'll take you with them. So always help people get to the top of their mountains. And more times than not, you'll be there right alongside of them. In my business, be a financial and community Google. Know what's going on. Know where to get the information. You know, right now all we do is just pop in Google and we put in a word. But you know, sometimes Google doesn't know what's going on in New Albany, Indiana. But if you can be a financial Google and a community Google, people will come to you. You can give them directions. I've had the privilege of hearing fantastic speakers my whole life. You know, my insurance and investment careers lasted 52 years so far and still going. I will not go to a meeting if I think I'm going to get something out of it. And I always get gems. One of the gems I got was from a football coach from Notre Dame. Any Notre Dame fans here? I got a few of them. All right. Well, Lou Holtz was speaking, and the question was asked to Lou, how do you recruit such great players? What's your secret? How do you do it? And Lou said it's simple. Any football player, any business person, anybody you come in contact with only wants to know three things about you. Number one, can I trust you? Can I trust you to do what you say you're going to do? Can I trust you to be the best that you can be? Can I trust you to reach for the stars? Number two, are you committed to excellence? Are you the best that you can be? Are you just mediocre? We want you to be excellent. We want you to be the top. And the third is do you care about me? Or do you just care about me as a player that helps me get my paycheck? In business, do you care about me just as a sale so that I can get a commission check or an investment check? Do you care about me and do you care about my family? And I think you can hear from what Valerie said, I care. And I've lived by those three bullet points from Lou. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? And I think if we all live with those three principles, we'll all be better in our lives. Life's full of opportunities, challenges, and choices. The choices we make today may affect our lives forever. And I'm speaking a lot to the young people in our group. The choices you make today could affect you 5 years down the road, 10 years from now, 20 years down the road. And with the internet and everything else now, there's nothing sacred anymore. So make the choices you make in life, make them wisely, and remember, they could affect you your whole life. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of failure, and ask people for their help. If you'll ask people for their help, more times than not, you'll find out they will extend a hand and help you any way that they can. Now, as I get ready to close tonight and get ready to return to my seat, it's been an absolute fantastic night. There's a 4-way test that the Rotary adopted in 1943. And for you Rotarians, you know the 4-way test. But for those of you who are not Rotarians, I'd like to just read them for you. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the 4-way test. That's been adopted by the Rotary and has been around since 1943. If we think about those words in our everyday lives and in everything we do, I think we will all be better, and again, our community will benefit. Now, as I get ready to return to my seat, many of you won't remember half the words I said tonight. But what you will remember is how I made you feel. I hope I've made you feel good. I hope this has been an enjoyable evening for you. I hope you've had a good night and a great introduction to the Rotary Banquet for those of you that have never attended. Finally, again, thank you to the Rotary Club of New Albany and all of you who attended this in my honor. And again, remember, it's not about me, it's about we. We all have the opportunity to be the best we can be for our community. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Larry, you now join a long list of community honorees that began 30 years ago. You referred to them in the booklet. You can see them in your program, but I would like for all past honorees of the Community Toast to stand and be recognized. So. Again, I would like to thank our presenting sponsors, First Savings Bank and West Point Financial, as well as our Gold and Blue sponsors that are listed, but I'd like to once again recognize those gold sponsors: Alliant Insurance Service, Caesars Foundation, Dr. Dan Eichenberger, Huber's Orchard and Winery, Indiana University Southeast, Monroe Shine & Company, Greg and Christy Nash, Underproduction Multimedia, Ricke Financial Advisory Group, Waters, Tyler, Hoffman, and Scott, LLC, and West Banco. It's your support that allows us to do the many good works of service in our community, and I know it will be a wonderful gift to the Community Foundation of Southern Indiana to grow their unrestricted community grants fund with that wonderful matching opportunity from Lilly Endowment that Larry talked about. So, Family members, if you would, please stay for pictures. If you could meet up here at the stage when this is over with. Thanks for being here to celebrate the wonderful gift that Larry Ricke is to our community. Stay safe and good night.